Welcome back to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Menti. It's not a news flash that the state of New Jersey has budget problems. Part of that budget problem is the pension fund for public employees, which is nearing a crisis. So how do we fix it? Let me introduce my next guest. Thomas J. Healey is coordinator of the New Jersey Pension and Health Commission. This was a commission put together by Governor Christie, right?
Exactly. So the governor put it together about 15 months ago, recognizing the size of the problem. We're a bipartisan panel. We're 4 Republicans, 3 independents, and 3 Democrats. So it's as balanced as we can get it. It's been fun working with these guys. Almost all of them are people who are experts in pension and finance.
And I should point out, I wanted to do as part of your intro, you've worked in the private and the government sector, and you worked in the Treasury Department under Ronald Reagan.
So I was Assistant Secretary of the Treasury under Ronald Reagan. So that's my government experience.
So you have some cred, you have some street cred when it comes to this topic. Give me a scope of the problem.
Yeah, in 2 sentences, the pension underfunding is $82 billion. It's the second worst in the United States. Only Illinois is worse. That compares to $34 billion is our annual budget in the state of New Jersey. That's one factoid. It is increasing. That $82 billion is increasing $10 million a day, every day. That's why it's urgent to take care of it. And then the third is, if you add the total benefits, the pension plus the health care, we're currently as a state spending about 11% of the budget on that. It's projected if we don't make changes by 2025, we'll be spending 27% of the budget. And that's just going to crowd out everything else. It's going to crowd out child care, school care, safety, bridges. And
that's how it affects the taxpayers.
Exactly.
That's, aside from the fact that New Jersey has already the highest taxes in the country.
Yeah, the taxpayer gets hit one of 2 ways. Either we increase taxes to pay for that huge amount of money. We already have the highest taxes, as you said. The other is that we cut back on every other service. And arguably, we're not spending enough money as we should be right now on roads and pre-K education and all of those other important things that are just going to fall by the wayside if it gets gobbled up by the benefit expenses.
All right, we're running out of time, so I want to get to what you believe the solution would be.
Well, what we did when we identified the problem, that was our first study, this huge problem. And then we looked at the health care plans. The health care plans in the state of New Jersey are the richest in the country. They are substantially richer than the richest health care plan in Obamacare. What our conclusion was, if we reduced that down and rationalized it down to the level of a high-quality private sector pension plan, a gold quality health care plan, that would save $2 billion a year. $2 billion a year saved and assured over 30 years by the constitutional amendment will fully fund the pension deficit.
If we do nothing, what happens?
If we do nothing, by 5 years from now, we're into this process of arguing where do we find the $4 billion of cuts or some amount of taxes. But there isn't enough room in the taxes. Even if we did a millionaire's tax, that's only $600 or $700 million in revenue against a $4 billion a year problem.
So something has to happen, and something has to happen within the next 6 years.
Well, and the
preferably
sad thing,
before that.
Yeah, but preferably before that, because if we wait until we run out of money, we become like Illinois. And Illinois has an even bigger problem, and they're probably too late to be able to fund it. They should have solved it 5 years ago. If we don't solve it today, remember that $10 million a year in growth, it just gets so big that it can't be solved.
Sarah, thank you so much for coming in. Please come back. We'd love to talk to you again, especially as this pension reform movement goes
through. It impacts
this.
All of us. It also impacts the state workers, because if we don't get it solved, then their pension really does become at risk.
Wonderful. Thomas J. Healey, coordinator of the New Jersey Pension and Health Commission. When we come back, some students going to Rutgers are going to get free tuition under a new program. The details when Jersey Matters continues.